Hey everybody, um, my video is on the news. You probably have heard about Superman in the past week with the media and everything that's been going on about Christopher Nolan uh, mentoring a new Superman movie. Um, I'm kind of on the fence with that. I'm not sure if it's true or not because ever since Superman Returns, there's always been a lot of rumors that they're going to make another movie, and it's been 4 years, so I'm not sure I really believe it or not. I mean, it could be true, but there was somebody at DC Entertainment, a woman named Diana Nelson, the head of DC Entertainment. With these, I got this on SupermanHomepage.com, and I can read it to you, and what her words are. It says here, and this was posted on February 20th. It says Diana Nelson, head of DC Entertainment, told MTV.com that the recent report that Christopher Nolan was mentoring a new Superman movie was nothing but rumor. Then she goes on and says, "Wouldn't you like to know?" laughed Nelson when asked if there was any truth to the recent rumor that the Dark Knight director Christopher Nolan will oversee a reboot of the Superman movie franchise. And then further on, she says, "We don't have any plans about that, and as I've mentioned, in the coming months we will be making a lot of announcements about what our content plans will be," she added, "but right now that's nothing but rumor, and we frankly don't say a whole lot more than rumor than that." So, if this is all true, if this is all true, then then that's great. But I don't know if I'm going to buy this because you have somebody at DC Entertainment saying something different. Then you got those people over there, saying something else. Now, first it started off with Christopher Nolan being the mentoring Superman, and then we have, we hear that David Goyer is going to be involved with the writing. Christopher Nolan's brother, John Nolan, helping with the writing and the script. And so we hear all these stories, but then you have one person saying something different. Now, if this is a rumor, it wouldn't surprise me, and I could be wrong because they've they've said this before. I mean, you always hear them saying this stuff, and it end up not being true. But I think maybe what's happening is they're trying to stir the pot up. Maybe they're trying to stir things up to try to get people interested in the idea of a new Superman movie. Who knows? That's just my opinion as to what could be going on right now at Warner Brothers. And I'm a big Superman fan, so I really want to see another movie really bad. Because I kind of missed seeing Superman on the big screen. But I got all kinds of Superman stuff. I mean, I got Superman T-shirt, comic book style. Got Superman Returns T-shirt, and then of course I got this new one, this Christopher Reeve one on eBay, brand new. It's really nice shirt, so I got it. And but anyways, I think that I think there might be a movie. I don't know if all this stuff is true. I probably will learn more when I go to San Diego Comic Con this summer. I'll probably definitely learn some more facts if it is true. I'm sure there'll be mention of it. And but there's people out there that are concerned about this movie, and about the idea of Nolan and Goyer and all them getting together and making a movie. One of my subscribers and subscriptions and friend on YouTube, Relativity, she told her audience and that and all of us her subscribers that uh, that she was one of her videos, I guess one of her recent videos, she had mentioned that she wasn't so keen about that idea of those guys getting together and making a Superman movie. Well, I don't think you have anything to worry about because see, it has nothing to do with style. I mean, they made the Dark Knight the way they did because that's how you make a Batman movie. make Batman dark. That's how you make. It's not like this is a style thing. And in any movie these guys work on, it's always going to be dark. They understand the difference between Superman and Batman. They understand that. So, and these guys have read comics. They're smart, so they probably will make a Superman movie that's a little bit on the lighter side. I don't think they'll make a dark Superman movie. That's, they made Batman, the Dark Knight, dark because that's how you make a Batman movie. Um, I have to believe that, see, first of all, I know there's people out there that say, yeah, make the movie dark, you got to make it dark so people will like Superman on the big screen. You got to get people to the theaters, and you got to make the character dark. What the problem with Superman, what you got to do is you got to have a good script, good writing, good storytelling, and you got to have fresh new villains to put in there. If you can put all those things together in the right places, you could come up with a very, very enjoyable film for everybody. You take a look at the Spider-Man movie franchise, and you take a look at the Iron Man movie franchise so far. Those aren't dark characters, but they worked on the big screen. And why? Because their stories were interesting. So you need to make a Superman movie that's interesting. And I really, I'm being cautiously optimistic about the Nolan news. I tell you one thing though, I would rather see those guys work on a Superman movie rather than Mark Miller, somebody that has some really weird ideas. And and I think this is why Warner Brothers probably, if the story in fact is true, probably the reason why they want the Nolans and Goyer involved is because they want an interesting, they want good quality Superman film. I mean, because The Dark Knight was a good quality film, so Warner Brothers is probably hoping they can do the same for Superman, but I don't think they'll go the dark way. And here's another fact why I don't think they'll go the dark way. Another rumor is that the movie will be based on the John Byrne Superman comics of the mid 1980s into the 90s. John Byrne, who wrote Superman comics, based on his Superman, I think overall that Superman wasn't that dark. I think that Superman, I mean, it didn't really start getting dark until the 90s, but in the 80s, Superman wasn't really that dark. I read very little of his comic book material during that era, but uh, because of that fact, I don't think it will be a dark movie, and I don't think anybody should worry. Um, but one thing I would like, and I know it's not going to happen, but I would love to see Brandon Routh play Superman again. I mean, I know there's some of you out there that couldn't stand the guy and you didn't like him, and you have your own ideas for Superman. But I thought he did a fine job, and he reminded me of Christopher Reeve. He looks a little like Christopher Reeve, and I think that's why some people liked him as Superman. Yeah, so because Christopher Reeve, he was my Superman. I mean, he may not be around anymore, but back in the day, he was Superman. I mean, the guy was born to play Superman. I mean, his facial expressions, his mannerisms, just his face, hairstyle, he looks like Superman. And so yeah, but I think that I think there might be a Superman movie. I think that Warner Brothers is considering it. But consider this though: there is a case going on right now between the Siegels, Shuster, and Warner Brothers right now. The Siegels family, the heirs from Siegel and Shuster from the 30s. The family is trying to get rights, get the rights to Superman, and I'm kind of wondering are they going to be able to make a movie while that case is going on? Who knows? Maybe they just might want to get the movie going as soon as possible before they have all the rights. The Siegels have all the rights. So that's all I want to say. And so let's just hope and keep our fingers crossed. There's another Superman movie. Um, and I think, it's possible that there will be. Really looking forward to it. So if it does happen, but I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. We'll see. I'll probably learn more at San Diego Comic Con. All right, everybody. Take care.